Okay, so San Francisco is definitely known for burritos. It's quick, it's affordable, something you can grab on the go. But what about sandwiches? I've always had my favorites, so have other people. Until making this video, I didn't really realize how many great sandwich spots there are in San Francisco. Now, I could have easily made this list 15, 20, maybe more, but I had to cut it somewhere. It probably would have been easier to do 5, to be honest, but there's so many good ones and so many different varieties. I couldn't choose just one style of sandwich. You know, there's multiple different styles. It's a banh mi, or it's a hoagie, or a sub. I'm sure some of you watching this are going to complain that I didn't give the best review of the place that's your favorite, or maybe I didn't cover your favorite place. And as I said, though, there's just too many sandwich spots, so I might have to do a part 2 to this. So this is the 10 best sandwich spots in San Francisco. That's what I got from the cheesesteak shop. It is the Western. It's provolone, peppers, bacon, barbecue sauce, onion rings. Looks fantastic. I think it was $12.50 altogether. So I'm excited to get into this sandwich and take a couple bites. That's incredibly savory. You get the sweetness and the tang of the barbecue sauce. A little spiciness from the onions. A little bit of kick from the jalapenos. That's a fantastic sandwich. Cheesesteak Shops is great. I've been going there for well over a decade. If you ask anybody who's lived here for a long time in San Francisco, they'll tell you the Cheesesteak Shop is definitely a must visit. I'm going to stop filming now so I can go back to eating this, and I'm going to finish the sandwich. So it's not the traditional cheesesteak, but I've tried multiple cheesesteaks from them over the years, and I've never been disappointed. Okay, so here's the thing. I just finished that sandwich. I was extremely excited to get into it. It was a great sandwich, as I expected. Good distribution of ingredients. As I said, everything tasted great. If I'm going to say one negative about it, is going to be that the meat I found a little bit dry. They were very small bits. It was chopped up really fine. And even though it was slathered in barbecue sauce, it made it a wet sandwich overall. The meat was slightly dry and crispy. Detracted from the sandwich a little bit, but not a ton. Definitely not going to make me hesitate about going back there. The bread, of course, was perfect. That Amoroso roll you can't go wrong with. It was a little on the messy side, as you'd expect with a cheesesteak, but still overall a fantastic sandwich. I can't recommend it enough. All right, guys, right now we're in North Beach, bringing us to Freddy's. You're not usually going to find this in a tour video or a tour manual. You're not going to see this in any top 25, 50, or 100 places in San Francisco. But talk to locals in the know, and many of them will tell you this is one of the best sandwiches you can get here. So let's go check it out. Alright, so I tried to go to Washington Square Park. They're renovating right now, so I'm here at Joe DiMaggio Playground. The sandwich looks pretty good. It's like an old school deli sandwich. I think I have to get the Italian combo, which is #1. Ed, the guy at the counter, owner, I believe, he recommended it. So it looks pretty good. It's like a very straightforward old school deli sandwich. Quite heavy and quite inexpensive, so I'm pretty eager to get into it. Let's take a bite. Alright, so that was cool. It was like $10.50 for a fairly heavy sandwich. I don't think it was anything to write home about. That might have just been the nature of the actual sandwich that I had. I think it was mortadella, Genoa salami, ham, and I think an American white here. American cheese, white American cheese. So Freddy's is solid. Like I said, very inexpensive. I feel satisfied. I feel full. It wasn't the most amazing, groundbreaking sandwich I ever had, but for what it was, I think it was nice. So I probably won't be back there anytime soon, but next time I'm in the Fisherman's Wharf area and I want something that's affordable and good,
that's probably going to be on the top of the list. So right now I'm in the outer Sunset. I just left Clancy's out on Irving and 41st. You know, we found this spot accidentally about 6-7 years ago while working out Sidelands, and I remember being extremely impressed by their sandwiches, but I could not remember where it was at. It's kind of in the neighborhood. There's no transit that goes by here, so I think if you don't know it's here, you would never know it's here. But I feel they deserve some spotlight on them because their sandwiches are really, really good. And in the last few weeks where I've been talking to people about this video, people keep bringing it up. All right, looks all right. Cajun mayo did kind of soak the bottom half a little bit, but let's take a look. Bacon, turkey, looks all right. There's a lot of Cajun mayo on it, which I'm okay. I like sauce. Some people might be a little saucy though, I think. All right, so I gotta say it's pretty good. The flavors are pretty well balanced. It does have a good amount of spice by the nature of the sandwich, but it's not the type of spice that's gonna melt your face off, so it's actually perfect for me. For $9.50, I'd say it's pretty well priced. Yeah, really the only thing I can say that's a con for this place is this location. It's way out on 41st and Irving, but if you're going to the beach, they do have parking out front, so it's fairly close to the beach. It's a good place to stop by, grab something to go, and head out to the beach from there. Alright, I just came from getting a sandwich at Deli Board. The best sandwich I've ever had that my wife didn't make. Hands down, honestly. I'm right in the middle of making this video right now on the 10 best sandwiches in San Francisco. I might as well just stop. That was ridiculous. It's hard for me to justify spending, I think it's $18 on a sandwich. However, that sandwich was perfectly built, perfectly balanced. I got the pastrami Ron, so the Ron is typically, I think, roast beef, cheddar, their house sauce, jalapenos, and avocado. But the spin is you get it with pastrami on it. Best sandwich ever. Game over. Honestly, I'm open-minded. I'm going to see what else is out there. But if this doesn't win the best sandwich in San Francisco, I'm going to be extremely surprised. Hey guys, right now I'm in the Haight. I'm walking down Cole looking for my favorite sandwich spot, which is Bite Me. I think it's extremely underrated. They've moved a couple of times since I first found them. I haven't been to this new location yet. All right, so I ordered the Big Zeke. I believe it's number 23 on their menu. Looks really good, right? I like the way the sandwich is built right off top. There's condiments on both sides of the bread. I find a lot of times places will slather mayo and mustard on the bottom half, and then meat on top of that, and then condiments on top of that. So when you bite into it, a lot of times it's not evenly distributed ingredients, and you might get a huge bite of meat. But this one's built really well, not very messy. I think in the future I might go with extra mojo sauce. There's a lot of flavor that comes from the mojo sauce, and that might make the sandwich a bit messier, but I think it'd be worth the trade-off. Man, this sandwich is delicious. A little on the spicy side, but it's worth it. Dutch crunch, can't go wrong with that. And it's a pretty hearty sandwich, I gotta say. Good amount of meat, good ratio of meat to other condiments. I'm happy with this. And it was a hefty, hearty sandwich for very little money, honestly. It was $8 and it was a heavy sandwich. So I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm happy with it. I'd definitely go back there again. All right, I'm headed to Roxy's right now on San Jose Avenue.
I've been getting told by locals my entire life how good this sandwich spot is. For some reason, I've never been here. So it's a great time to go check it out. Let's go see if it lives up to all the hype. I expect that it will, and I'm super stoked about doing this right now. Alright, so I want to say the sandwich is 12 bucks. It's a regular size. They do have 3 different sizes. They have a junior, they have whatever their extra large is, and they have a regular, but I figured regular is probably the average size most people would get. Oh man, look at that. That looks phenomenal. Alright, so that was pretty good. It wasn't anything unusual. It was what I would consider to be an old school deli sandwich, but done right. It was like pastrami, turkey, Swiss cheddar, jalapenos, lettuce, tomato, pickle, all the normal stuff made an appearance, but it was done really, really well. Dutch Crunch, I think, was a little bit dry, but it was savory. It was pretty well balanced, so I think for the $12 that sandwich cost me, I'm pretty happy about it, especially in a day and age where, you know, sandwiches cost $16, $17. So yeah, I'll definitely go back. There's another sandwich they have called the Tony Special that my friends were actually buying when I was there. I would probably want to go back and try that, but I'm pretty happy about it. So on to the next spot. Alright, so I just went to Saigon Sandwich, got this nice banh mi. I brought it up to one Kearney to eat it, check out this privately owned public open space. So we've got the trusty scale with us. Let's put on the scale, see how much it weighs. So $3.69, pretty light, however it was only $4. So value-wise, I think it stacks up pretty well against the competition. Of course, the main thing is, let's open it up and see how it tastes. You know, I haven't been in this spot probably about 9 or 10 years, but it is well renowned as being one of the best sandwich spots in the city by most locals. It is in the TL and the Tenderloin. It's a little bit of a sketchy part of town. I wouldn't advise going there late. I wouldn't advise going there if you're normally scared to go to places that are a little bit sketchy. But if you're with a couple people and you don't mind waiting in line, because there will be a line generally, then I definitely recommend it. So I got the roast chicken. Let's take a look. Typical banh mi fare. Get your veggies, a little mayo sauce. Looks like cilantro, carrots, jalapeno, the huge. It's pretty good. The sauce has something going on. I can't quite tell what it is, but it's a good thing. Chicken, fairly average, not super spicy. The sandwich definitely has a little bit of a kick from the jalapeno, but pretty mellow overall. Not an overly savory sandwich, but definitely not offensive. I think most people would be okay with this. It is very messy though, so if you do go there to grab a sandwich, definitely make sure you grab a napkin. And a little bit of heat is starting to kick in now from the jalapeno, but it's pretty well balanced. Yeah, I'd have to say the sauce definitely is making this sandwich. It's got just enough flavor, whatever's in it, to accent what else is going on with the vegetables and the chicken. So I gotta say, for $4, it's probably one of the most valuable sandwiches you're ever gonna get. There are people there that are buying 4 and 5 at a time, because they're making them constantly, honestly. The lady who was making the sandwiches in the back would just shouting out requests for orders, people standing in line. So by the time I got to the front to pay, it was already done, which is a great way of doing things. They think they had 4 or 5 things on the menu. I'm sure if you wanted to add or subtract something simple, it wouldn't be a big deal, but there's not a list of items, so they're making the same thing all day, every day. So they're cranking them out, which is probably how they're able to keep them so cheap.
Alright, so a bit of advice, if you're going to go to one of the most amazing sandwich spots or food spots for that matter in San Francisco, don't go during lunchtime, which is what I just did. It's about 1:30, so the place is absolutely packed, nowhere to sit. I did find somewhere down the block to sit, so it's fine. This sandwich is mighty heavy. And I think it was $12.50, so not bad at all.
You know, they roust them, they side them.
Wow.
You give him money. None of the stores would let him anymore.
Okay, that was pretty amazing. Hot meat, shredded lettuce works pretty well with that. There were 3 sizes. I opted for the largest one because at $12.50 I figured that was about comparable to what you would get at most sandwich spots here in the city. I think it was a little bit heavier. I think it was a little bit better. The house sauce they have, I feel like, is a little bit on the sweet side. So it could be slightly more savory, but I think for the average person, it's not going to be too hot. It's not going to be too spiced. It's a phenomenal sandwich, I gotta say. For a hot meat sandwich, a little bit of fresh veggies. Submarine Center, I've never been disappointed when I've been there. I would just advise either call in ahead of time, place a tablet order if you have to, but just don't go there at 1:30. It was a bad move on my part, but that place is always solid, and I hope they're always there. And it's right by the West Portal Tunnel, so it's easy to get off the train and pop right in.
Alright guys, I just grabbed a sandwich from Ted's Deli over on Folsom between 11th and 12th. Definitely one of the older sandwich spots in San Francisco, as I said. Always been solid, reliable. It's one of those places that a lot of city workers go to, a lot of police, a lot of EMTs. Generally, those folks know the good spots to eat at. I would say their sandwiches aren't fancy. They're just traditional, old school deli sandwiches. So I asked for the most popular sandwich. The girl behind the counter told me there's the pastrami, but that they were actually out of pastrami. So instead she gave me the Club Ted, which I believe is turkey, bacon, lettuce, tomato. I got it on a Dutch Crunch. It smells really fresh, looks really, really good. Take a look there. Just nothing fancy, just a straight up good sandwich. Sometimes sandwiches really don't need all the bells and whistles. They don't need special sauces. They don't need a gimmick. They don't need a super fancy topical name. Sometimes all a sandwich really needs is good fresh meat, and a lot of it, and good fresh condiments, and good bread. So let's take a couple bites and see how it is. Not horribly impressed with this sandwich in particular. Now, to be fair, most every sandwich I've gotten from there has been phenomenal in the past. I don't know, I think it's a slightly boring sandwich by my standards of what I would normally order. However, I did ask them for the most popular sandwich order, so I can't really hold that against them. I could maybe use a little more vegetable on there, a little more tomato, something that could taste a little fresher, a little brighter. Definitely a little on the boring side, but not bad by any means. Alright guys, that was Ted's. Honestly, a little disappointed. I've had better sandwiches from them before in the past. Generally, I design those sandwiches myself. That is to say, I'll take one of their sandwiches and add a little extra mayo to it, or ask them for some avocado or some spices. This one I just went with, like I said, again, I asked the person behind the counter for the most popular order, and I wish they hadn't been out of pastrami. I feel like pastrami would have been better. I'll definitely go back. The sandwiches I've gotten from them before have all been stellar, but if this is a sandwich the average person is ordering on the often, then the average person really doesn't know how to order a sandwich. Alright, so I got my sandwich here from Yellow Submarine out on Irving. Definitely one of our favorite sandwich spots for a lot of years. Been around for a long time. I got a pepper steak and cheese. I want to say it was just under $12. Let's open it up and see how it is. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff right there. I got it with all the works, and it's mayo, lettuce, tomato, all the normal stuff, jalapenos. Comes in this nice soft roll. They crisp up in the oven a bit. So let's take a bite. You know, normally I would never go for mayo, lettuce, tomato, any of the cold ingredients. I would never go for on a hot sandwich. Somehow it works with this. I think it's the iceberg lettuce just shredded up. So it's not a big piece of lettuce, not a big piece of tomato. So it works, you know. I could maybe use a little spice on it, which would be a personal preference. Maybe I could add more jalapenos or some hot sauce. But I think for 12 bucks, it's a fairly heavy sandwich, definitely satisfying. It's pretty close to Golden Gate Park too, so if you're going to go to the park for the afternoon, you can stop by Irving and 6th Avenue and grab one. I mean, I go to Yellow Submarine fairly frequently, so it definitely have to be on the list. So yeah, if you haven't been there, I'd check it out. If you've been there, I'd go back. They do have a dining area, which is nice inside. Pretty simple dining area. But I think the move really is to grab one of these, stop by a corner store, grab a beer, and then head to the park. So yeah, Yellow Submarine out on Irving. If you haven't been there, don't miss it. You know, I should also mention that one of the things that I personally appreciate about Yellow Sub is they're fast, their food is delicious. I believe they're cash only, and they're also no nonsense. Maybe don't enter the area before kind of looking at the menu from the outside of the store. In other words, don't waste time. The order area is pretty small. People are in and out of there really quick. So, I mean, they'll work with you, but definitely be prepared before you go in there. You have a game plan. Don't just, you know, wait till you get to the counter before you figure out what you want. Try to figure it out before you're ready to actually order. It'll save a little more time because they're definitely pumping sandwiches out, and they don't have time to deal with people who don't know how to order.
Okay, so it's hard to choose a favorite. I would have to say, based on the value, the price for what you get, Saigon sandwich and the TL, hands down. I think their sandwiches are about $4. They're fairly filling. You can grab a couple of them if you really need to. The best tasting sandwich, Deli Board, South of Market, Folsom Street, for sure. I mean, I want to say their sandwiches are usually around $18, but when you get one, you really know where your money is going. All-around favorite, though, I'd have to say, for the value, for the flavor, for the price, has got to be Submarine Center on West Portal. Been going there for years. I've always liked it, but when I look at everything objectively, I have to say that one takes a cake. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, Submarine Center, West Portal was the best sandwich in San Francisco. Now, feel free to disagree with me. Leave comments below. Let me know what you think. I'm definitely open to have a discussion about it. Like I say, I might do part 2 of this video. But for now, we mark the spot. You go find the treasure.